What if I told you that Stellantis, the automotive giant behind the iconic brands like Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, and Ram, has gone from dominating the US market to struggling to keep its head above water? We've seen recall after recall, catastrophic quality issues, and sky-high prices driving customers away. It's like watching a slow-motion car crash, and Stellantis doesn't seem to know how to hit the brakes. In just 6 months, Stellantis has gone from celebrating record profits in 2023 to facilitating plummeting sales and an unprecedented decline in market share. Shares of the company have dropped by more than 50% since March of 2024, and it's not hard to see why. The once beloved American brands under Stellantis' umbrella are no longer delivering the quality or the value that customers expect. It's starting to get to that time of the year where you need to make your dollar go a long way. Now, whether or not you need to buy you an exhaust system, sticky Mickeys, catch cans, whatever, my friends at Drag Racing Wheels and Just Bolt-Ons have you covered. And with my discount code over here, Butter, that you can use to checkout, you can save up to an additional 15% off on your next order. So take advantage of this discount with my friends at Just Bolt-Ons and DragRacingWheels.com, where some of the best prices online for aftermarket parts just got a little bit better. Let's start with where Stellantis is right now. After a banner year in 2023, when the company was riding high on pandemic-related supply chain shortages and price hikes, the tables now had turned very quickly. As soon as inventory levels started to normalize in 2022, 2023, unsold vehicles started to pile up on Stellantis dealership lots at the same time that Dodge was going through its last call with its vehicles. Customers are starting not to want to pay these premium prices for vehicles that doesn't offer a premium value, especially when that same vehicle costs $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 cheaper than what it did back around 2021. Now, my Ram TRX, for example, if I wanted the same truck now on a dealership lot, I had to pay almost $120,000. Back in 2021, my Ram TRX was $90,000 out the door. And it is the exact same truck with no new things added. Same engine, same suspension, same interior. The only thing that changed between 2021 and right now is they added a couple of colors, and that was it. That's it. Now, by September 2024, Stellantis slashed its forecast for its full year profits and its cash flow. And as a result of that, its stock price tanked by, I think, about 13% according to the article in a single day. It's been on a downward spiral ever since this revelation. Now, what went wrong? But basically, in the simplest of terms, Stellantis started relying on its short-term gains without addressing its long-term issues. They raised prices aggressively during the pandemic, sometimes by as much as 30%, particularly on like models like the Jeep Wrangler, and then the Hellcat started having prices jacked up on them. Then literally, like, you can kind of see if you look from 2021, around 2020, 2021 up to now, the prices got elevated, but they never came back down. They basically stuck that money in their pockets, didn't upgrade anything, and then paid for an EV future that is starting to crumble before a single vehicle comes out. And all these high prices, at the end of the day, they are just driving their customer base away. One of Stellantis' biggest problems is its inability to produce reliable, high quality vehicles. The number of recalls across its brands is staggering. Whether it's Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, or Ram, there seems to be no end to the issues. Now, take the Grand Cherokee L, for example. Stellantis had to recall over 60,000 of these vehicles due to faulty electronic stability systems, especially with the stop cell they had to do. And then they had to do the same crap with the Ram pickup trucks. They had to recall over 1 million Ram 1500 pickup trucks due to the stability control system caused by software defects in the ABS modules, which the UAW was telling Stellantis for months that, hey, y'all need to fix this, y'all need to fix this, y'all need to fix this. And this is the same issue that was going on in the Wagoneers and the Grand Wagoneers that had been out since what, 2021, 2022. This stuff's been going on, and Stellantis turned a blind eye and didn't pay attention to nobody and just kept releasing jacked up vehicles. That is a major red flag and a major issue, especially for Ram, a truck brand is supposed to be rugged and reliable. But like I said, the UAW has been telling these guys for months and years in some cases that something's going wrong with these trucks, and Stellantis didn't do anything. Like, they literally told Stellantis that these wire harnesses were too short, and Stellantis basically said, nah, just go ahead and just stretch the wire harnesses out. And the UAW people were saying that if a Ram truck hits a bump a certain way, your wire harness comes out and your truck is basically DOA and you're SOL. But you know, what's even more concerning, there was a recall on, I think, about 25,000 Chrysler Pacific hybrid minivans due to fire risks. These vehicles are supposed to be family friendly, safe, and efficient, but Stellantis can't seem to deliver on those promises. Families were told to park their vehicles outside and away from any buildings because of a fire hazard. Now, and I said in one of my videos, I was actually in one of these Pacifica hybrids where it broke down me on the highway, and next thing I know, I started smelling like an electronic smoking sound. Now, my particular Pacific hybrid didn't catch on fire, but I know this crap happens because it was another report that's saying that people had suffered smoke inhalation from some of these Pacifica hybrids. Now, this is not the kind of joyful experience that anyone expects after spending $50,000, $60,000 on a minivan. And this is just wild that we had to just keep discussing all the nonsense going on within Stellantis. They have so many vehicles that are going through either recalls or messing up. It's just crazy to think that this is an accident. And let's not forget the notorious engine failures plaguing like the Dodge Durango pursuit vehicles for the police departments around the country, which I think was in Maryville, Indiana. That police department was forced to sell all the Durangos at a significant loss due to defective oil coolers that caused the engines to fail with less than about 15,000 miles. And these were vehicles meant to protect the public, but instead they've been sidelined for months and sometimes years in some case due to breakdowns and Stellantis' inability to repair the vehicles that they delivered to them over time. Now, this basically left the police departments around the country scrambling to find replacements, and Stellantis is basically slow walking them and getting solutions placed to get these vehicles fixed. Even without the quality issues, Stellantis' pricing strategy has alienated most of its core customers. Stellantis took advantage of the pandemic-induced supply chain issues and raised vehicle prices across the board. But the thing is, when you're charging luxury prices, customers expect a luxury experience, and that's where Stellantis has failed. Despite these sky-high prices, many of Stellantis vehicles are plagued by consistent quality issues. Customers who pay $100,000 plus for a Grand Wagoneer don't want to deal with faulty air conditioning or loud fan noises, or I think there was an issue where there was like a crazy water pump design that's stalling these vehicles. I've seen a video where someone's Wagoneer stopped in the middle of the road. I've seen where some of these guys have trim pieces fall out the window if they go through a like a drive-through car wash. There's a lot of crap happening with these vehicles, and they are put together cheaply. It seems that though Stellantis got rid of all the cheap vehicles. Like I said, no Renegade 300 is gone. They got rid of the Dart. They got rid of the Grand Caravan. A lot of these cheaper vehicles are gone, and now you only really have vehicles that's like $50,000 to like $120,000, $150,000. Like, that's really your range now. You really don't have really any sub $50,000 vehicles from Stellantis, other than what, some Wrangler trims, maybe some Gladiator trims. Can't really say if Dodge has any budget trims, because they told us the cheapest electric vehicle they have is around $60,000 and $80,000 for the other not the Cherokee, but the other Charger. So there's not really any budget options for people to get volume out the door. Like even the Ram 1500s are like $40,000-$50,000 for like the lowest trims, which is ridiculous. The vehicles that remain, like I said, like what, the Dodge Hornet, still priced way too high, and the Hornet itself is way too small to compete effectively in their markets. Like, this thing is taking on like like the Mazda little CX vehicles. Those vehicles like $30,000, and you can't even get into a Hornet for around at least what $40,000. And Stellantis had to play a lot of pricing games to get them prices down for people to want to actually get into those vehicles. I mean, 5 of the 8 brands within Stellantis are on the list of the highest days of inventories belonging to Stellantis. Like they literally have so many vehicles that have been on the worst selling list. It is ridiculous. Like the Wagoneer was on there, the Grand Wagoneer was on there, the Ram 2500 was on there, the Ram 3500 was on there, the Hornet was on there, the Charger was on there. I think the Challenger was on there too at one point in time. The Grand Cherokee was on there, I think, another point in time. Like they had so many vehicles pop up on that worst selling list and had so much inventory. It should have been like an easy sign that, hey, let's do a lot of rebates and incentives to get the prices down and get these suckers out the door. But Stellantis really didn't do that crap. They tried to play with the margins with the dealers, and the dealers, on the other hand, they really had no choice but to jack prices up on these vehicles or not offer discounts on them because they would lose money on them. Dealers are struggling to sell these vehicles that are simply just way too expensive for what they offer. The average price of a Stellantis vehicle is somewhere around, I guarantee you, I think I read in an article, the average price of a Stellantis vehicle is around $60-something thousand, which is way higher than the average. I think the average in the industry is around $40,000 to $45,000. So you already get to a point where you're like $15,000 over what the industry average is. And that's like an extra, if you think about that in terms of monthly payment, that's like another, if you do $30,000 over 5 years, that's $5 a month. So literally any vehicle you buy from Stellantis on a monthly payment wise, you paying an extra $250 a month for really any Stellantis vehicle on average compared to anybody else. It don't matter if it's Mazda, it don't matter if it's GM, it don't matter if it's Ford, whoever. You're paying an extra $250 a month because their vehicles are $15,000 more expensive on average than the industry average. And that just caused dealers to be stuck with cars that they cannot move. And Stellantis is starting to offer incentives after all the crap that was going on, to where they hit like rock bottom and lost a lot of market share. But to me, honestly, it's too little, too late to get back into the game, to get back on people's good side. The management at Stellantis has also come under fire. Dealers across the country have been sounding the alarm for over 2 years, but Stellantis has been slow to respond. Many top executives from Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge brands have left the company in frustration. We all know Tim Kniss is gone, Jim Morrison left. With Michael Vaughn, he dipped out over the Mopar brand, getting out of Ram. The lady who's in charge of software, she left. Was it Mark Stewart, who did the negotiations with the UAW and pissed all them off? He's gone. The good year with the girl who was in charge of software. So a lot of people are left, and there's a lot of shakeup. But there's no way in the world all these shakeups, in my mind, is going to fix really anything. Like even with Tim Kniss is gone, the CEO of Dodge, he played a vital role in that brand's muscle car revival. Tim Kniss definitely left a void, and Stellantis has to struggle with trying to replace him with someone who understands the American market. Like I say, I think Matt's gonna do a pretty decent job, but it's gonna be kind of hard to basically fill Tim Kniss's shoes. It's kind of like you got Tom Brady of Dodge, and then everybody else after him is kind of struggling, trying to get back to glory. And I know Matt's hands are tied behind his back, because I just saw an article, well, not an article, I saw a podcast where Ralph Gilles was on, and Stellantis will not allow him to bring back a Viper. That's one hand tied behind Matt McClear's back. Then the other hand, they won't put V8s back into the new Charger, and the new Charger won't see an engine inside of the vehicle until sometime later next year. So Matt is stuck at Dodge right now with an old ancient Durango, especially Durango Hellcat, is way too expensive. He has a Charger Daytona that on every social media post, everyone clowns Dodge on every single social media post. People do not want an EV Dodge Charger. There's not going to be a four-door variant of the Dodge Charger until January, February of next year. So he's stuck with that crap. And then you got the Dodge Hornet that has consistently been in the top 3 of the worst selling vehicle in America ever since it came out. I mean, it's just crazy to think this is how Dodge went a year ago. You got Hellcats, Red Eyes, Scat Packs, Super Stocks, Demon 170s, Durango Hellcats. You got all these vehicles, and then a year later, oh, we're gonna give you none of that. We're gonna just basically leave you with Durango Hellcat, an EV Charger that everybody hates, and you're gonna have a Hornet, and that's it. Thank you, Matt. Try to, revive Dodge. And it's not just me or customers like me who are lost faith in Dodge. Dealers also lost faith in them too. Profits at Stellantis dealerships have dropped well below the industry standard from when I was reading the article. It's just crazy how bad these dealerships are doing. But as I said in other videos, a lot of these dealerships are having to basically have their Demon 170s and package together with them a bunch of inventory that they can't move. Like I said, I'm gonna see if I can pull the email up that I got. One dealership offered a Demon 170 and like 10 Hornets, 10 Durango Hellcats, like 2022s or 2023 Durango Hellcats. I think 4 or 5 months ago. One Demon 170, 10 Durango Hellcats, 10 Hornets, in order to get rid of that inventory and stick people with that Demon 170. They tried to trade all that inventory to another dealership to get all that crap off of their floor plan. That is literally how bad these dealerships are going through, right? Like I can imagine the value of these dealerships are just going just as bad. And they are sitting on millions of dollars worth of unsold inventory, especially old, because we're about to have 2025 vehicles hit lots now. And there's a crap ton of dealerships who have 2022s, 2023s, 2024s that people never drove that they can't get rid of. And Stellantis don't want to give them any incentives to get rid of the vehicles. I remember one time I was on a call with dealers, between dealers and Stellantis, to where they will only give them incentives if they keep ordering new inventory, and the extra cash that they will give them from ordering new stuff, they kind of imply to the dealerships, hey, this extra bonus money we're going to give you, apply it to the older cars and sell the older cars at a loss to get them out of your inventory. So it's just crazy the game that Stellantis has been playing with these dealers in the background. And you know, despite these struggles, Stellantis leadership has done like little to, you know, address the concerns of the dealers, leading to even more discontent, especially with more and more dealers who reach out to me to have me listen in on the calls to see the kind of nonsense that Stellantis is trying to push on them. And then, you know, let's not forget the ongoing tensions with the UAW and Stellantis suppliers. The UAW has been threatened to strike, and Stellantis suppliers have halted production over pricing disputes, especially times where Stellantis doesn't want to pay them, and Stellantis has to basically send them to court in order to get parts. Stellantis is sending suppliers to court, suppliers sending them to court. The UAW is trying to pressure the White House to pressure Stellantis into opening Belvedere back on time. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, and Stellantis is just, there's no positive way forward that I can see in my eyes that's going to fix this crap for Stellantis. So, I mean, to me, where does Stellantis go from here? I mean, this company needs to address its quality issues and stop alienating its customer base with high prices and unreliable products. There is like millions of vehicles that got recalled just the last 3 months alone. If Stellantis wants to survive in the US market, they need to listen to their dealers and focus on producing vehicles that offer real value to consumers. The average vehicle, I said earlier, from Stellantis is $60,000. The industry average is $45,000. They are way over the mark. They either need to introduce lower trims or they need to cut the price of some of the higher trims and cut back the profit. If they're doing all this cost cutting where they're firing thousands of people, there is no reason to still keep the prices up on some of these vehicles if you're firing thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people. Stellantis is probably trying to bank on a lineup of new electric and hybrid vehicles to save them, including the Jeep Recon and the electric versions of the Dodge Charger. But with the market turning away from overpriced Stellantis models, it's hard to say if these new products will be enough to turn the company around, which I personally don't see it, because it's already questionable to me. If the Grand Wagoneer is one of the worst selling SUVs in America, you're reducing the shift at the plant that makes the Grand Wagoneer. You're literally laying people off. There are so many quality issues with the Grand Wagoneer. Why are you making a full electric Wagoneer EV if the gasoline version is so bad? And then why are you making a hybrid Wagoneer to one of the worst selling vehicles in your lineup? It literally just does not make any sense. Stellantis is facing stiff competition from brands like Tesla and Ford, who already are miles ahead of them in the EV race. Then you have all these brands like Hyundai, Kia, all of them coming out with electric vehicles that are way cheaper than Stellantis products, it's easy to see why these vehicles from Stellantis are not selling. But Stellantis is at a critical crossroads. I mean, can they fix their quality issues, lower prices, and win back the trust of American consumers? Or will they continue to lose ground to competitors like Ford and GM and Hyundai and Kia and heck, really any competitor? It's going to take more than just a new product to save Stellantis. They had to go really go rebrand everything. Like, I don't see them going through and slashing prices to the point where it's going to bring people back to the brand. The dealerships know, because they saw in Vegas when Stellantis showed them the vehicles come out in the next 5 years. They did this last year. All the GMs and all the owners went to Vegas last year when D170 got revealed, and the next night they went and saw 5 years worth of products that Stellantis gonna come out with. And those dealers are so pissed off. They wrote in that letter that they've been telling Stellantis since last year that they need to go in a different direction because the stuff they came out with is not going to sell. They definitely need to rethink their entire strategy, focus on quality, affordability, and customer satisfaction, not this EV nonsense depending on who gets in office. But time will tell if they can pull it off. But for now, things to me are not looking good for Stellantis. But let me know what you think in the comments. Is Stellantis on a path to recovery, or are they headed for even more trouble? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. And until the next time, I'm out.